Thank you. May all the 18-year-olds leave. Anyone under 18 must leave the room just based upon current events that need to be discussed. I will wait for 10 seconds. Please flee the room. I want to thank the Republican Jewish Coalition. My first event was held here, not in this esteemed room, but in the bar downstairs. I came for the free drinks, and I've stayed because I get to speak to this group for free many, many times. What a lucrative alliance we've created. Why is this night different from all other nights? Well, on this night, the American political agenda is held hostage by a schmuck. I see that the press left. They're afraid of me. But to those last holdouts, you may not know who I am. I'm the gentleman who hacked the congressman's computer 2 weeks ago. He's not particularly good at PR, this Congressman Weiner. And I'm a lot more empathetic than he actually thinks. If he had come to me, I could have given him advice, because I actually started to feel sorry for him on day, I don't know, 16 of this. I go, everything you're doing is exactly wrong. For one, he could have said this is just another example of Jew-on-Jew crime. And I would have had to have apologized for the cycle of violence. I think the best PR advice I could have given him, given the circumstances up in San Francisco, is that he was trying to demonstrate the virtues of circumcision against the anti-circumcision lobby. Well, I'm not going to go blue all night because I come here with a purpose. I was bar mitzvahed, let me think, 1982, what is it, 29 years ago, University Synagogue at the corner of Saltaire and Sunset, and I was kicked out of Hebrew school, I kid you not, by Rabbi Freeling and Cantor Freilich. And in hindsight, I think that's where the battle started with me and the liberal Jewish community. I'm so glad I spoke out of turn in Hebrew school. And I remember my father, Gerald Breitbart, and around the same era, the last time we went to University Synagogue, I remember him pulling me. He said, "We're getting the hell out of here." And that was when Rabbi Freeling supported Reverend Jesse Jackson after calling New York Hymietown. And I thank my father for having the common sense that I use today instead of the stupid degree I got from Tulane, which was basically moral relativism, and that somehow the Jews were the oppressor in the Arab-Israeli crisis. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. This Edward Said doesn't make sense to me. This Rashid Khalidi, I'd like to see that videotape, doesn't make sense to me. I just don't understand how an inherently decent and free people could be the bad guy. Never made sense to me. Never made sense to me. And I'm glad I've become a journalist because I want to fight on behalf of the Israeli people. I've been there. And the Israeli people I adore and I love. And for those people in journalism school that teach neutrality and objectivity, that's on par with the moral relativism that they teach in the humanities departments. You cannot be objective when it comes to right and wrong. And Israel is in the right. So I'm a biased journalist, and I have a great time doing it. And I think that we're starting to win. I think that the mainstream media no longer has the potential to hijack the American narrative. And my goal is to create a website by the name of Big Jerusalem so that Israel, not just what Israel has to deal with, is actually worse than what conservatives in America have to deal with when it comes to media bias. Because not only do they have to deal with the inherent media bias against the American media, they have to deal with the inherent media bias of the international media. And when Israel is in the right, when something has transpired in the media, they're immediately called the hacker, just like I was 2 weeks ago. And then they have to undo the damage done by the mainstream media. And so that is why I've created a media enterprise whose sole goal isn't just to tell the truth. I take stories that are politically incorrect, I take stories that the mainstream media doesn't want to hear, and I don't just aim them against the object, whether it be Acorn or Congressman Weiner, or whether it be Hamas. I aim it at the mainstream media. And I say to them, if you're not going to cover this truth, every second that you don't cover this truth, you're going to look more stupid, and you're going to lose more viewers, and you're going to lose more subscribers. And that business model has worked quite well. So, I'm a biased journalist, and hopefully more people will join the fray, because this is a citizen movement to take on ABC, CBS, and NBC, and BBC, and the New York Times, and the mainstream media. I call it the Democrat media complex, the natural alliance of the Democratic Party, liberal interest groups, and the mainstream media. It's the matrix. And I think that the matrix will go down within the next 5 years, and hopefully something more fair and equitable will come as a result of it. But I want to come and give you some advice. I'm constantly under attack, and I love it. I fetishize it. I don't take pictures of my genitals and send them to teenagers. I like to fight the media. That's my fetish. Over the last 2 years, I joined something inadvertently, not inadvertently. I was asked to go to the first Tea Party, the big Tea Party tax day on April 15th down in Orange County. And I went down there because, not because I was going to drive, I don't have a Paul Revere outfit at home, or Ben Franklin garb. So I was like, what am I going to talk about? But that day, the mainstream media, after 8 years of supporting any anti-Bush get-together, whether they supported the anti-WTO stuff in Seattle where people would break, throw trash cans into Starbucks, there wasn't an act by a protester that wasn't defended by the mainstream media as patriotic. It was just an absurd premise, and for 8 years that's all we got. And after 9/11, after the election of President Obama, the same people who had dissent as patriotic bumper stickers, who basically turned treason and sedition into something kind of hip and Rolling Stony, this group of people said, hey, let's return to our founding principles, the Constitution and fiscal responsibility, values that everybody in this room, I hope, hold dear. And these bold, bold, bold people decided to go out there, and the first thing that the evil Democrat media complex did was accuse them of being racist, sexist, homophobe, and Janet Napolitano, no crotch shots from you, Madam Secretary.